what death row looks like a round the world by a talking hat? I'll put the link in the description. Let's get it.
North Korea. You know that moment of dread you get when you're writing a text about how much you hate your boss, but instead of sending it to your friend, you accidentally send it to him instead? Yeah. I want you to multiply that terrifying moment by about 1 million. That's exactly how it feels like when soldiers kick down your door at 3 a.m. in North Korea. Maybe you've been convicted for criticizing the government to the wrong person. Maybe you were caught watching smuggled South Korean drama. Or maybe you simply dozed off during one of Kim Jong-un's speeches. It doesn't really matter what you did, because your fate was sealed the moment someone reported you. You're simply going to be executed, but not in the way you might imagine. The soldiers will arrive at your door before dawn, kick it down, and drag you out of your bed, then load you into the back of their truck. Your family will helplessly watch as you vanish into the darkness. A few hours later, you'll find yourself standing in an open field in Pyongyang, a military training ground, far from any city. You are tied to a pole, your hands are bound behind you, and you can't move. The pole is planted somewhere about 100 feet away from an anti-aircraft cannon.
Damn.
This thing wasn't originally built for people. It was designed to literally blow up aircraft thousands of feet in the sky. But now, it's aimed at you.
Damn.
The soldiers force you to your knees and bind your hands behind your back. A thick rope is wrapped around your torso, securing you to a wooden pole, with no room to breathe freely. The crowds are already gathered, because this isn't going to be a private affair. It is a message, a spectacle designed to terrify anyone else who might dare to step out of line. The crowd watches in forced silence because showing any sympathy for you could mean they're next. You stand there, tied to that pole, knowing what's about to happen without being able to do anything about it. Your last thoughts narrow on the bathroom. You wish you could have used it before your execution, but interrupting Kim Jong-un again would only result in your family being targeted next.
I'm surprised that they didn't target the family in the first place. Ah, oh well.
And besides, it doesn't really matter since you pee your pants in fear when they fire the cannon at you. On the bright side, nobody would ever know that you wet your pants in your final moments, because the shell doesn't just end you, it literally
Obliterates you.
evaporates you.
Damn.
Your body becomes so obliterated that there's nothing left but fragments scattered across the field. There is no
Jesus
body to bury,
Christ.
no remains, and no more pieces of your existence.
I thought he says electrocute. I guess.
The only thing left behind is a glaringly obvious message. Don't upset Kim. Japan.
I just don't know how I don't know how you can be happy. Like, does he never think that like so many people I think like everyone around him's fake? Maybe not his daughter or that, but I feel like knowing everyone's fake and it's all a persona in a sort of way. I don't know. I just wouldn't be happy. But then again, I guess maybe power for him is making him happy. That's mental. It's Japan. Are we talking World War II or something here? Like,
You've been sentenced to death in Japan for murder. But unlike other countries where you might know your execution date months in advance, Japan doesn't work that way. They don't tell you when you're going to pass away. You're placed in a cell barely larger than a bathroom. The walls are bare concrete. You wake up every single morning not knowing if this is your last day alive and if today is the day they're going to come for you. The uncertainty is deliberate. It's part of the punishment. You're isolated in that tiny cell with minimal human contact. Even the guards don't speak to you that much. You have no access to the outside world and no way of knowing what's happening beyond those walls. Every footstep in the hallway could be them coming to get you. Every time you hear keys jingling, your heart races. Days pass, then months, then years. The stress and anxiety from anticipation drives you absolutely insane after a decade has passed. Then finally, in passing while a guard is giving you your food for the day, he lets you know that in just 3 hours you're going to be executed. After all that waiting and psychological torture of not knowing, you only get a few hours' notice that today is the day you're going to pass away. They lead you to the execution chamber and, well, yeah. According to a 2009 investigation by The Guardian and Amnesty International, this system of uncertainty has driven some prisoners to develop severe mental illness from the prolonged psychological torment. They pace their cells obsessively.
what's wrong with my... Is execution that bad if you're just going that mentally insane in the first place? I feel like at that point, just like, I'd be like, thank God. I don't know if this is fair as well. I think it is. If you've done some horrendous, like, horrendous crime, I'm not against this, to be fair.
To themselves, completely detached from reality.
Okay. Oh,
By
you
the time
pressed K
they're
pause.
finally executed, some of them don't even fully understand what's happening anymore. Afghanistan. Now imagine you're in a country
This is not gonna
living
go
under
good.
Taliban
Oh
rule.
no.
You've been accused of adultery or maybe theft. The trial, if you could really even call it that, is quick. There'd be no real defense or due process. The verdict is already decided before you even walk into the room, and now you've been sentenced to death. Especially if you're a woman. They take you out into a public square where a crowd has already started to gather. Men, women, and even children are there because the Taliban wants everyone to see what happens to those who break their laws. You're forced to your knees beside a tall wall, about
Stoned?
15 feet high, made of concrete and stone. Your back is pressed against it. Then they tie your hands and announce your crime to the crowd, shouting it loud enough for everyone to hear. The accusation, the sentence, all of it laid bare for public consumption. Then you hear a bulldozer rumbling. It's deep, mechanical, and growing louder with each passing second. That's when the reality of what's about to happen truly hits you. They're not going to you. They're not going to you. They're literally going to crush you. The bulldozer's blade makes contact with the wall and it starts to tilt. You try to move, but the ropes hold you in place. The wall starts falling, slowly at first, then faster, and there's absolutely nothing you can do. The concrete and stone come crashing down on top of you with thousands of pounds of force. Your bones shatter on impact. Your chest is compressed, and you're buried alive under the rubble. The crowd watches as the dust settles, and somewhere beneath that pile of concrete and stone, your life ends in agony. Saudi Arabia.
I did not expect that. Wow. And then just build another wall to keep doing this. That's. Oh wow, at least we don't live there.
Imagine you've been
Oh,
convicted
Saudi
of taking
Arabia.
someone's life,
This can't
trafficking
be
illegal
good.
substances, or maybe
That's
apostasy,
getting
which
worse.
is renouncing Islam. The trial is over, and you've been sentenced to execution.
I'm not gonna lie, it makes the North Korea one not seem too bad. At least it's instant compared to, like,
In
I have
Saudi
a
Arabia,
feeling
that means one thing: a public
these
beheading
next
by
ones.
sword. On the morning of your execution, you're transported to a public square in the center of the city. Locals call it Chop Chop Square, a grim
Chop Chop Square, Al-Safat Square. Why is it 4.5 stars? Dira Square, also known as Justice Square, Safa Square, or Chop Chop Square, is a public space in the Al Dira neighborhood of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's located adjacent to the Al Hukam Palace compound. Known for public executions, hours open 24 hours and 4.5 stars. Okay. We really did
nickname
this.
that's become normalized through repetition. The execution always takes place after Friday prayers.
It's traveling there and just giving it 5 stars. Like.
There's already a crowd gathered to watch. You're forced to kneel on the ground while an executioner stands behind you. He's holding a long, traditional Arabic sword, sharp enough to cut through bone in a single stroke. And then, in one swift motion, the executioner raises the sword high above his head and brings it down with practiced precision. If he's skilled, and he usually is, your head is severed from your body in a single stroke. But if he's not, he keeps repeating the process until your head is chopped off. Your consciousness doesn't fade immediately. For somewhere between 2 and 7 seconds, your brain may still function.
I did hear
You
7
may still be
seconds.
aware, even as your head separates from your body and falls to the ground. Then everything goes dark. Saudi Arabia.
I wonder what you see for 7 seconds. And it's like you can, like, but like, do you get like that phantom pain? Like, you know, like how phantom pain's there? It's like, can you still feel your body? Or do, like, I just couldn't imagine not feeling my body or being able to move it. Surely there's some sort of phantom, like you still think your body's attached even though your head's just rolling. Oh.
Arabia is one of the last countries in the world that still uses beheading as its primary
like
method of
that.
execution. South Africa. Let's shift to the 90s during a country's internal strife against apartheid. Imagine you're suspected of being an informant, someone who's been working with the segregated government while intentionally selling out
Is this
your
South
own
Africa? Yeah.
Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but in the chaos of resistance and revolution, accusations alone are often enough. There's no trial, no judge, no jury, just mob justice. They grab you in the street or drag you from your home, force ties over your head and arms, one after another, until you're wearing multiple ties that trap your arms against your torso like a straitjacket made of rubber. You can't move them. You can't fight back. You can't even escape. Then someone brings gasoline. You smell it before you feel it, and the sharp chemical odor makes your eyes water. They pour it over the tires, over you,
it's the
and it
worst.
soaks into your clothes, into your hair, into everything. There you are, begging, screaming, trying to explain, but the crowd isn't listening. The only thing people want to see is a lighter setting you ablaze. And set ablaze, you are. When the fire starts, the heat is immediate and excruciating. The rubber tires begin to melt, fusing with your skin as the flames consume you. This isn't a quick passing. The fire burns slowly, and every second feels like an eternity. You're conscious for most of it, feeling your body being destroyed by the flames. The crowd watches, some in approval, some in horror, but no one stops it. This was necklacing, a brutal form of execution used during the anti-apartheid struggle. While it wasn't an official government method, it became a horrifying symbol of the violence that consumed South Africa during that era.
It's the worst so far. Oh my god, setting fire. That's maybe the worst pain.
If you've ever wondered what death looks like in a territory controlled by ISIS, you're about to get a glimpse of it. Imagine that you are accused of homosexuality or adultery, or maybe a crime that violates their
Did you
extreme
just do the
interpretation of
try guy?
homosexuality or adultery, or maybe a crime that violates their extreme interpretation of Islamic law. You wouldn't require a judge to tell you what will happen next. There's no real trial, just an accusation and a sentence. They take you to the
That's mental. You can just accuse someone and bang, that's it. What? I guarantee you, so many innocent people that just had an argument are like
top of a tall
cooked.
building, about 4 to 5 stories high, in the center of town. A crowd gathered to witness your punishment.
And they've just chucked
You're
you off.
standing on the edge, and before you can even process what's happening, they push you to the ground. You free fall for a couple seconds, but when you land, the impact is so devastating that your bones break and your organs rupture. If you're unlucky, you may still be conscious when you hit the ground. And yes, surviving this execution is extraordinarily unlucky, because ISIS doesn't stop there. If you're still alive after the fall, the crowd that's been watching you doesn't disperse. Instead, they move in closer while picking up stones,
They
rocks,
start
and whatever
beating
else
you.
they can find. They begin throwing them at your broken body. Whether you're already dead or still clinging to life, they stone you, continuing the brutality even after the fall. United States.
That has to be a lie. This has to be something so far back in
The
time.
United States likes to present itself as more civilized and more humane in how it handles capital punishment. Lethal injection is supposed to be clean, clinical, and painless.
No, sometimes it can go wrong and it's
But before
torture.
it became the standard, there was the electric chair, a machine with a history of horrific failures. Alan Lee Davis,
We can't put the electric chair as nightmare when someone was setting fire.
known as Tiny because of his massive 300-pound frame, was convicted of murder and sentenced to death in Florida. On July 8, 1999, he was strapped into the state's electric chair, a device meant to deliver a quick and supposedly humane passing. But something went wrong. The executioners strapped Davis in too tightly, and the moment they flipped the switch, 2,000 volts of electricity surged through his body, causing immediate and severe physical trauma. Alan's face bursted open, with pouring out of his eyes, mouth, nose, and his, groin area. His passing was not instant. Executioners were forced to listen to the 300-pound man's muffled screams as he struggled to get free from the chair's straps. The execution was so disturbing that it sparked immediate controversy.
How did they tank that though?
Photos of Davis afterward were released to the media and ignited a nationwide debate about the electric chair and whether it qualified as cruel and unusual punishment. Alan's case was so extreme that he became the last man to be executed by the electric chair, forcing Florida to change its method to lethal injections instead. However, he wasn't the only one to suffer a botched ending like this.
But the lethal injection can also be wrong. Every single way can be wrong. It can go bad. Like, I still think the flame's the worst. The fire one must be the nightmare fuel. Literally. No way that's worse.
Florida. 9 years earlier, Jesse Tefero faced the same chair after being convicted of murdering 2 police officers. The procedure had been checked and rechecked, or so they believed. The moment the current flowed, flames literally exploded from Tafero's head, shocking everyone in the room. The execution team stopped and restarted the current 3 times before the man's suffering was finally ended. Later investigations revealed the cause. Someone had used a synthetic sponge instead of the natural sea sponge required for proper electrical conduction.
It's that deep.
The synthetic sponge could not conduct electricity correctly and overheated, causing the fire. Some countries make executions fast in public, others let the slow psychological damage happen long before the physical demise. Either way, the condemned are stripped of their humanity and turned into symbols or statistics. Whether you support or oppose capital punishment, these stories force us to face a hard truth. The way we treat even the worst among us says something about us as a society. Be kind to the people around you. Value the security and freedoms you have. And as usual, have a happy day.
What is this even? Ah. No one has a pet. That was a video. Yeah, the worst one there was definitely the getting lit on fire. I think that's maybe one of the worst, if not the worst, in the world ever. It never mentioned a lot. I would say like stoning and stuff could be worse than some of the others. Like the electric chair isn't bad. It's just that was a botched one. But that doesn't probably happen to the majority of people. Usually it's one and done. While like being set on fire is the worst one. That happens to every single person that's went through that. So you know. But that was what some death rows look like around the world. But that was a pretty fun video. We can react to more. Yeah. Subscribe, thumbs up, and yeah. Thanks for watching it with me.